What's up, good executive VPO or good VPO? I'm on the wrong platform. What's up, good VPO? Let me know that you can hear me while I slide over and get all combobulated. Let me know you can hear me in the chat by typing, "We're back." We are back. We are back with the trial of James Timothy Norman, the transcript reading of the trial. Yes, I was actually watching the replay of the last time we had our reading, and in it, I explained that we were going to have to move it to a different platform, and all of those sort of things, because there's a unique niche audience for this, which is great. That's fine, and I want to give y'all what y'all want, and y'all been wanting it a long time. And I said, oh, it's just gonna take a little while to figure it out. It won't be weeks. It's been weeks. It's been many weeks. Thank you. But y'all been over here long enough. Y'all already know how I roll. So we got this now. It is on the Reality Chronicles channel, which if you haven't as of yet, please subscribe to this channel. There's definitely more content coming over here. The true crime and real life stories. I got a ton of them that are being worked on in the workshop. So look forward to that, especially if that's your judge. If not, just support the channel and subscribe and hit the like button for this video too. So thank you to everyone. Let me know that you can hear me by typing "We're back." Nicole, Minister, Annette Edwards, Aaron, Sabrina, C. Payton, 23. I like this. This is quicker to get through this list because it's not as many of us over here yet. It's fun. It's almost like I'm starting all over again. So tonight, what we're going to do is for those of you who may be new to this video we're doing, tonight we're going to read James Timothy Norman transcripts of the trial that was held in 2021, September, or is it 2022? 2021, 2022. But we are on day 2 of the trial. Let me get my facts right. Uh-oh. And I'm rusty. Yes, I'm all discombobulated. Yeah, it was 2022. So we are starting with, we are now on day, well, I'm gonna give you a quick little overview of the rest of day 2. The plan moving forward is that we will not read verbatim the testimony from every single person who testified, because the truth is there were 40-something witnesses, 42 witnesses, 43 if I remember correctly. We are not going to be reading all of those, but we are going to jump around to those people of note, those people who you're familiar with, or the testimony that is most suited for the kind of situation we are doing. So we are skipping over. So now we're moving into the testimony from the insurance agent professionals. And the first witness was a lady who worked at one of the insurance companies. And basically she was breaking down how insurance companies work, and, the processes and some of the things that Tim Norman did in order to try to qualify for the health insurance. I mean, for the life insurance for Andre. And as I'm skimming more, I'm like, okay, some of this we could have gone over, but oh well, we're moving. This is what happened when I don't have time to dig. But anyway, so we do have again tonight our lovely VPO actors, our cast. And tonight we have with us, and I'm about to bring each one of you up. We have Precious G, we have Robert, and we have Margin. And I'm going to organize all y'all. Let's see. Let me get everything straightened out. Bear with me. I'm rusty. I think this was, nope, it was, oh, and I'm going to share it on the screen. So hold on. Let me do a screen share. Bring our document up. And thank you to the 95% of you who have hit that like button And for the 5% of you who have not as of yet, I greatly appreciate it in advance. Is this the right one? Yep, that's the right one. There we go. We got the documents up. Let me see if I can. This is going to work. Guess we'll do it this way. All right. Okay, so we are going to start here. Let me just remove this. Uh-oh, I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if something's changed. Okay. So we're going to start here on, so court resumes. This is now day 3 that we're moving into. So the end of day 2 was when they started having the testimony of the insurance company professionals. And the morning of day 3, we resume with more testimony from other insurance company life insurance company professionals. So the court proceedings commence at 9:26 a.m. And we're starting with, just to let you know, for the Robert will be reading today as Judge Ross, also known as the court, and Margin will be acting as Attorney Carol, and myself, I will be Mr. Leonard, and Precious will be our first witness, Mr. Sullivan. So, all right, we can start with the court.
Good morning, counsel. I think you know that we had some transportation issues this morning, so that caused our delay. As I understand it, the government's next witness is Teresa Elias. Is that correct?
No, Your Honor. The government next witness is David Sullivan.
Okay. Here's what I need you to understand. Before Teresa Ellis testifies, I'm going to take a break so that we can let the jury go out, and then have Ms. Ellis on the witness stand prior to her testimony. So you just need to be aware of that. That's fine. Are you ready to proceed?
Yeah, Judge. We did file a motion to bar Mr. Sullivan as a witness at trial.
What time was that filed?
In the evening.
Okay.
Notice of him being called as a witness was yesterday at 4:30. So we didn't have an option but to file at this time.
Is there anything you want to tell me about that motion?
Sure, Judge.
Come up here to the podium.
Yes, that's Your great. Honor. Our expectation is that I think it's pretty much a sole limited purpose for which they are calling Sullivan is just to show that Mr. Yagnam, the insurance agent broker, was not properly certified to be their agent and that he couldn't submit applications. And so our position would be it's entirely isn't entirely irrelevant whether he was qualified or not. Mr. Norman certainly didn't have any notice or knowledge that Mr. Yagnam wasn't qualified with that particular company. It certainly doesn't go to further any conspiracy. And also, Judge, under 403, a conceivable limited relevance is subsequently outweighed by the dangers of prejudice, which you can't tag Mr. Norman with knowledge whether he qualifies pursuant to the internal workings of some insurance company as an agent. It is far from the issue in this case, and it is certainly not a part of the conspiracy.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, I hope you can resolve this very easily for the court. The government has no intentions to call Mr. Sullivan to testify for this, and that the government doesn't believe Mr. Sullivan knows whether Mr. Yagnam is a
Contractual.
contractual agent.
Mm-hmm.
Sir.
Let me interrupt. Mr. Sullivan is a Forester's Life claim representative.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what's his position there?
He's the vice president of claims. He is testifying as to Mr. Norman's attempt to collect on the Forester's life insurance policy.
But the things that Mr. Leonard is referencing, whether or not Mr. Yagnam is qualified as an agent, he is not going to testify to that.
No, he is not, Your Honor.
To the extent I'll interrupt your motion to bar this testimony as a motion in limine to exclude testimony related to whether or not Mr. Yagnam is a qualified agent. Now I'm going to grant that motion. I'll instruct the government not to get into that issue. If you believe the evidence should cause me to change the ruling, approach the sidebar. I'll take it up at the sidebar. So that being said, anything further you want to tell me?
No, Judge. Obviously, we bought that motion, and that was briefed too.
All right. So the motion to bar again is going to be granted in part, as it will be the ruling by the court to limit the aspects of the testimony. With that, we are ready to proceed. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, you're ready to proceed as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's go get the jury. John, wait 1 minute. Now let me make sure I'm clear on other aspects during the course of Mr. Sullivan's testimony. Is it the government's intent to play a tape of a call that was made to Forester's Life?
Yeah, it is, Your Honor. There are actually 2 recordings that are going to be played, and we have given the court the instruction for the transcript. These recordings have been previously admitted.
Okay. All right. And again, the government has submitted through my assistance, judicial assistance, proposed instructions. You are agreeable to that, Mr. Leonard?
Yes. What the counsel tendered, we are agreeing with the court reading.
It includes that bracketed language was recorded to whether the transcripts correctly or incorrectly reflects the conversation. And you were asking for that language. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and get the jury.
So the proceeding commenced at 9:35 a.m. and the jury was basically brought into their jury box, and then Judge Ross continues.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for the delay in getting started this morning. We had some transportation issues. I'm not sure if the traffic is as a result of school being back in session. In any event, we had some transportation issues, and I apologize for the delay. If you will make sure you have the correct notebooks. Anybody have an incorrect notebook? Raise your hand. I see no hands. So I'll assume everyone has the correct notebook. When we recessed at the end of the day yesterday, the government was presenting evidence. Ms. Carroll, you may proceed with evidence.
Okay, I'm gonna interject real quick. So when they're talking, when he's elaborating about the issues with the traffic and being delayed due to traffic, what he's referring to is Tim being transported from the jail to the courthouse. So Tim's bus or van or whatever they had him in was late getting him to the courthouse, to the federal court building that morning. Okay, you can continue, Ms. Carroll.
Your Honor, the government calls David Sullivan.
If you will step up here, the clerk will administer the oath, Mr. Sullivan. And if you will speak into the microphone, it will help amplify your voice. There is a bottle of water next to you to your left, if you would like that. You may proceed with questions of the witness. Counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Sullivan.
Good morning.
Please introduce yourself to the jury.
My name is David Sullivan.
Where do you work at, Mr. Sullivan?
I work at Forrester's Financial.
What is Forrester Financial?
Forrester's Financial is a life insurance company.
What is your position with Forrester Financial?
I'm an assistant vice president over claims, contracting, and compensation.
Can you explain what the job involves? What are your duties?
Yeah, I oversee the teams over the adjudication of life insurance claims, the compensation over and contracting of agents who sell our products.
What does that mean, the adjunction of claims?
We get claims submitted under the contract. We have a time review information that's submitted on the life insurance policies to determine if there is coverage under claims. If there is, we pay benefits on that.
Are you aware of whether James Timothy Norman had a life insurance policy on Andrew Montgomery with Forrester's Life?
Yes, I'm aware he did.
What was the face value of that policy?
The face value was $200,000.
Was there also an accidental death rider in the policy?
Yes, there was.
Something called a term rider. Was there also a term rider on the policy?
Yes, there was.
What was the amount of accidental death rider?
It would have been $200,000.
And term rider?
$50,000.
Can you explain for the jury what does it mean? What does that mean, the term rider?
It is an additional coverage added onto the base face amount selected at the time of the application to increase the death benefits payable.
What was the total value of the policy?
$450,000.
Are you aware of whether while that policy was in place, Andrew Montgomery died?
Yes, I'm aware.
After Andrew's death, what attempts did the defendant, Mr. Norman, make to collect on that $450,000 policy?
He called in to open up a claim on the life insurance policy they're insuring Andre Montgomery.
And at some point, did the agent representing Mr. Norman contact Forrester in the claim process?
Yes, they did.
On March 18, 2016, did the while Yognam placed a call to Forrester on behalf of the defendant?
Yes, he did.
Have you heard the recording of that call?
Yes, I have.
Was the call recorded by Forrester?
Yes, it was.
And have you reviewed the recording prior to your testimony here?
Yes, I have.
Please pull up 17C, Mr. Sullivan. Have you also reviewed the transcript that appears on the screen here of the recording?
Yes.
Does the transcript accurately reflect the contents of the recorded call we're about to hear?
Yes, it does.
What was the date of the call, Mr. Youngham, to Forrester's?
March 18th, 2016.
And if you know what was the date of Andrew Montgomery's death?
I believe his death was March 14th, 2016.
So the call, that was 4 days later?
Correct.
Could you please play the recording?
Before you play the recording, counsel, again, the recording is Exhibit 17E. Is that correct?
17C, Your Honor.
Okay. So it is Exhibit 17C, and the transcript is Exhibit 17C-1, and subject to the instruction that I'm going to read. Those have been identified. 17C-1 was not admitted in evidence. Are you offering it into evidence?
I'm not, Your Honor.
Okay. So just Exhibit 17C, which is the recording. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the agreement of the attorneys, the court has an instruction to read to you. As you have heard, there is a transcript of the recording you are about to hear. That transcript also undertakes to identify the speakers engaged in the conversation. The transcript is for the limited purpose of helping you follow the conversation as you listen to the recording, and also to help you keep track of the speakers. Differences in meaning between what you hear in the recording and what you read in the transcript may be caused by such things as the inflection of a speaker's voice. It is what you hear, however, and not what you read, that is the evidence. Whether the transcript correctly or incorrectly reflects the conversation or the identity of the speakers is entirely for you to decide based upon what you hear on the recording and what you have heard about the preparation of the transcript, and on your own examination of the transcript in relation to what you hear on the recording. If you decide that the transcript is in any respect incorrect or unreliable, you should disregard it as to that extent. And with that, counsel, you may proceed with the playing of the recording and showing the transcript.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr.
Mandy,
Sullivan. Sorry.
let me read the caption. The government exhibit 17C was played. I guess they don't give the transcripts here, is looking like. But we literally, while we were in court, could hear the recording of Tim Norman when he called into the insurance company to try to collect on Andre's passing. Okay, you can continue, Ms. Carroll.
Mr. Sullivan, were the premiums regularly being paid on the policy on Andre Montgomery's life?
Yes, they were.
Who was making them?
Mr. Norman.
So at the time of Andre's murder, was the policy in place?
Yes, it was.
Who was the beneficiary on the policy?
Mr. Norman was.
Following the call from Mr. Yegnam, did Foster's receive a call from the defendant himself, Mr. Norman?
Yes, they did.
What was the date of the call?
I believe it was March 21st, 2016.
And the date of Andre's murder?
March 14th, 2016.
Was the call the defendant then a week after the murder?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan, I'll ask you to keep your voice up, if you would. Thank you.
Okay, I will.
Did Foster's also make a recording of the call placed by Mr. Norman to Foster's life insurance?
Yes, we did.
And have you reviewed that recording?
Yes, I have.
Have you also reviewed a transcript of the recording?
Yes, I have.
And is the transcript accurate in its reflection of the content of the recording?
Yes, it is.
Counsel, Do you want me to read the same instructions again? Or can I simply direct the jury to be guided that instruction?
You can just instruct. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will be guided by the instruction that I read to you just before this. You may proceed.
Mr. Sullivan, Government Exhibit 17D is that the recording of the call placed by the defendant, Mr. Norman.
Yes, it is.
Can you please play 17D?
And then the government's exhibit 17D was played.
Mr. Sullivan, after Norman placed the phone call to Foster's, did you put in the claim for the policy on Andrew Montgomery's life?
Yes, he did.
Can you please pull up the Government Exhibit 17D, page 3? What is this, Mr. Sullivan?
This is our claim form, statement for claim benefits.
How does this form work? How does Foster's treat it?
We send this form out to the claimant beneficiary and ask that they complete the information on it and send it back to us. And we use this as a part of our investigation into the claim.
Could you please go to page 4, section 3, and section 4, the next that's written in there? The text, sorry.
Okay. It's still you. Okay.
Oh,
There
sorry,
are
sorry,
It's okay.
sorry.
There are questions asking the claimant to provide us with information about the descendant's medical history.
What does Mr. Norman indicate on this form he submitted?
Attending physician at People's Health Clinic.
And section 4, claimant statement, what is the information there?
That's Mr. Norman's name and the information applicable to Mr. Norman.
Okay, please scroll down to the signature block that appears on the bottom. Whose signature appears on the bottom of the form?
James T. Norman.
Please go to page 6, 17B. Mr. Sullivan, was this record submitted by the defendants as part of the attempt to claim the life insurance benefit?
Yes, it was.
What is this record?
This is a copy of the certified death certificate of Mr. Montgomery.
What is the cause of death that is listed at the bottom of the form there?
That the cause is a gunshot wound.
And the manner of death?
Is homicide.
Please go to page 8, zooming in the envelope on the top. What is Mr. Sullivan? What is this, Mr. Sullivan?
This appears to be the envelope that the claims documentation came to Forrester's in.
Is this a U.S. mail envelope?
Yes, it is.
I know it's cut off a little bit. Are you able to read the name of the sender of this claim?
Yes, it would appear to be James T. Norman.
Please go to page 10, Mr. Sullivan. After Foster received Mr. Norman's death claim on Andre, how did it respond?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Sure. Looking at the letter that appears on the screen in front of you,
Oh, I see.
was the communication sent by Foster to Mr. Norman after he filed the claim?
Yes, it was.
And if you could please read the first paragraph that appears the beginning with "we received."
And again, if you can keep your voice up and read slowly. Thank you.
Sure. We received your completed claim forms and have requested medical records from the Betty Jean Kerr's People's Health Centers to continue with our evaluation of your claim. Because we rely on medical providers to supply us with information, this process could take several weeks. Everything is done to ensure all relevant information is obtained, in a timely manner. We will provide you with the periodic updates of our progress.
Why did Foster's request medical records from the Betty Jean Carr People Health Clinic?
In the claimant's statement, Mr. Norman indicated that's where Mr. Montgomery had received medical treatment, and as part of our normal claims process in this case, we will request information from the facility to review.
Please go to page 12. Mr. Sullivan, what is this letter sent to by Foster's to Mr. Norman?
It is an update status advised that we have not received certain information requested.
Please highlight the paragraph below it as well, Mr. Sullivan. Can you please read these two paragraphs in the letter sent to Mr. Norman by Foster's?
To date, we have not received the necessary requirements to further consider your claim. In order to proceed, we require copies of the finalized police toxicology and coroner's reports. We have also been advised by Betty Jean Kerr's People's Health Centers they do not have a patient by the name Andre Montgomery. Therefore, we will require the names and addresses of any physicians Mr. Montgomery would have been seen between November of 2004 and November 2014.
Why did foresters need things like the police report or coroner's report when they were looking at this claim by Mr. Norman?
In these types of claims, it helps confirm the cause and manner of death, and it could provide any other information it would be relevant in reviewing the base claim or the accidental death claim.
Mr. Sullivan, was Mr. Norman's claim considered a
Contestable.
contestable claim? Thank you.
Yes, it is.
What is that?
This is when the death of the applicant insured occurs in the first 2 years of the insurance of the policy.
So this claim then that was put in within 2 years of the time the policy was in place.
Yes.
Could we please go 17B, page 4, a side by side with the People's Health Center paragraph from page 12. Mr. Sullivan, the box the jury is seeing at the top of the screen there was that Mr. Norman representation to foresters about Andrew Montgomery's treatment at the People's Health Center.
Yes, it was.
What did Mr. Norman tell foresters about Andre's medical record?
That they were available at People's Health Clinic and that he had a checkup in December of 13.
What did foresters find uh, when they contacted the People's Health Clinic?
We found that people advised us that Mr. Montgomery was never a patient there.
Please go to page 18. What is the form, Mr. Sullivan?
This is the agent questionnaire form we send out as a standard practice on contestable claims.
Please zoom in on questions 2 and 3, Mr. Sullivan. Was this form then sent to the agent who had worked on the policy?
Yes,
Was that Mr. Youngham whose call we heard?
yes, it was.
Could you please read questions 2 and 3 given by to the jury?
Where was the application completed? Who was present during the application process? If it was a voice application, who was on the telephone when you completed the application? Who was on the telephone when the interview was done by applicable? The application, the response was the application was taken at his uncle's house. His uncle and his cousin were both present along with him.
And the question 3?
Did you review all questions and answers on the application with the applicant? The response was yes.
And question 7, please?
Who provided the final answers to the application question? And response was Andre Montgomery, the applicant.
Mr. Sullivan, why does foresters care whether Andrew Montgomery was present when the application was filled out, whether he actually answered the questions?
The applicant is important because the applicant has to consent to the insurance. And by doing that, by signing the application, he consents to it. And it's important that he is aware and in agreement that the insurance to be taken out on him.
During Forrester's claim adjustment, its review of Mr. Norman's claim, what conclusion did Forrester reach about whether Andrew Montgomery had in fact authorized the application?
Objection to foundation of hearsay. We don't want the truth out about Tim.
The objection is sustained as to the foundation.
Mr. Sullivan, during the claims adjustment process, did Forrester attempt to determine whether it was in fact the case that Andre Montgomery had authorized the application?
Yes.
What steps did Forrester take to do that?
Well, we knew he was lying, but we had an independent investigator reach out to the local authorities that were working on the case.
Objection, non-responsive, and 403. And anything else I could throw out there.
Approach the sidebar.
So the proceedings were held in sidebar. As you guys remember, that's where they play the white noise. I forgot to pull it up for this, but they do the white noise, and the attorney step to the side of the judge's bench. And we can't hear that part. So I think this part where Judge Ross starts again, this is when the public can hear them again.
I want to understand where you anticipate this is going.
One of the bases the Forresters used for denying the claim was that they concluded during their claim adjustment process that Andrew Montgomery had not authorized the policy. So I can limit it to just what Forresters determined was why they denied the claim.
Okay, so I was mistaken. This part was happening during the white noise on the side of the bench, the judge's bench. We couldn't hear this conversation because they had the white noise playing, but the court stenographer was able to hear it, and she has dictated it here for us. So now I get to know what they were saying. So Mr. Leonard goes on to say, Judge, the question was just posed to the witness. Was there a meeting between Andre Montgomery and Wael Yagnam? And now he is going to answer that question. He has no basis to say whether there was a meeting or not. He is instead going to give hearsay from the St. Louis Police Department about whether they are investigating or whatever, I guess, whatever the heck they're doing. He said that to the judge. They can certainly say that they denied the claim. They can certainly say they contacted them. They can't get into the contents of those discussions with the St. Louis Police Department.
Now, I agree that you can't get into discussions about what they were told by the St. Louis Police Department.
I absolutely won't, Your Honor. I'm just happy to say what was the basis of why Forresters denied the claim, which will be that they determined that Andre did not authorize it.
Again, that is a hearsay statement made by the St. Louis Police Department without a foundation as to how they determined that Andre Montgomery didn't authorize it. Call the police department witness, lay a foundation through him, figure out how he determined there wasn't a meeting, and get a non-hearsay answer.
Actually, Your Honor, Forresters did much more than that. It was all non-hearsay. They actually did a handwriting analysis. I don't have to get into that, but they did their own independent investigation as part of the claim adjudications process, and I think the probative value of their basis for denying the claim is significant. It is not that they relied on St. Louis Police Department for information. They did an independent analysis.
But the way you are asking the question, it requires an inference of hearsay, if not hearsay. So if you limit the question of why did you deny the claim, it seems to me that he can answer that.
Okay, and I'm interjecting here. This is interesting because during the trial, I told y'all, because even Michael Leonard asked about, well, why didn't y'all do a handwriting analysis? And they said it was pretty much beyond the scope of their resources, etc., and hard to prove. But the insurance company actually did a handwriting analysis, and they never entered that into evidence. I mean, not that I guess they didn't really need it, but I did not know that a handwriting analysis was actually performed by anyone involved in this. So that's interesting. I mean, again, we all know that Tim forged Andre's name and the whole lie he told about. He said that Tim's lie was that YL came to Tim's apartment. Dre was there and little TJ was there. Dre and YL were at the kitchen table filling out the paperwork, and Tim said he was running around the apartment chasing behind little TJ, who was a toddler at the time. So that's a lie he told.
Boom.
Right. So Mr. Leonard goes on to say, but the problem is he is not going to know that. So he is going to give a hearsay response.
And my point is that your question has to be very narrow and directed so that he is not being asked, what did the St. Louis Police Department tell him? Now, what did the handwriting expert tell him? I mean, if you want to present that evidence, you can certainly do that. But with this witness, we can't testify to that. It needs to be directed. It really needs to be a yes or no question, because I don't want him to, he can't get into hearsay.
Agreed, Your Honor. I will just ask him, why did Forrester deny the claim? And he will list 3 reasons, including that they concluded Andre didn't authorize the application. They found that there was an inconstitutionalness.
I'm concerned that the question, without the witness understanding that he will volunteer information that he has been objected to.
I'm happy to limit my questions by saying, Mr. Sullivan.
Really? What you're asking me to do is to direct her to ask a leading question so that...
Oh, is it me?
Yes.
Sure. He was trying to fix the screen. Sure. What my concern is based upon what counsel has just said is he's still going to say the St. Louis Police Department told me there wasn't a meeting. Andre didn't authorize it. That's hearsay, Judge, without a foundation.
And I understand that. And I'm agreeing with you.
But she is saying she is just going to do it.
No.
I will say that Forrester determined that Andre Montgomery did not authorize the policy. That is my question.
The question is, did Forrester deny the claim?
Because it determined.
Because it determined.
I will ask that question, Your Honor.
She's getting tired of y'all.
Is that an agreeable?
As long as they say that, and he doesn't start talking, Judge, because I will be up. I'm going to get up on him.
Get up now.
I understand.
Thank you, Judge. So then the proceedings resume. So they turn off the white noise and they act like they just wasn't going fisticuffs in the corner. They start playing nice again.
Counsel, pose another question to the witness.
Mr. Sullivan, did Foresters deny Mr. Norman's claim on Andre Montgomery's life insurance policy is part because it determined Andre Montgomery did not authorize that policy?
Judge, foundation and hearsay. We just talked about
Rephrase the question.
Did Foresters deny the claim in part because it determined that Andre Montgomery had
objection. Judge, foundation and hearsay. We have been through this 3 times now.
Counsel approached the sidebar.
I forgot about this part. This was interesting. Okay, so the white noise is playing again, and they're on the side of the judge's stand. No one can hear this but them and the stenographer.
I may have misunderstood the court, but I thought that was the question.
The issue is, did Foresters deny the policy? They denied it because they believed that he didn't authorize the policy.
But that's the issue, Judge. That's based on hearsay statements given to them by third parties. She can ask the question if just told her to pose. You just told her to pose. You told her, did Foresters deny the claim? His response is yes. And then we're done with it.
But he can say the reasons why they denied the claim. He can't give an inference of hearsay or a hearsay answer. So he can't say that he talked to the St. Louis Police Department or he talked to a a handwriting expert. He can't say those things, and I agree that's clear. What's relevant is that he denied the claim for a variety of reasons, but he can't give an inference of hearsay or hearsay. So you have to limit it very specifically. The 3 reasons. What do you believe those 3 reasons are?
There is actually a letter that reports these reasons. It was written by Mr. Sullivan. That first reason in the letter that was sent by Mr. Norman is that Forrester conclude that Andre Montgomery did not authorize the application. The second reason is they found
inconsistencies.
In the application between what represents in the application and what was actually true. And the third reason is that they found there was no legitimate insurable interest, and that the uncle did not, in fact, have an insurable interest in his nephew's life. Those are the 3 reasons.
Okay.
Judge, the first is based upon the first, that it wasn't authorized based on hearsay, statements given to them by the St. Louis Police Department.
How is it not hearsay?
Your Honor, because it's not being offered for its truth. It's being offered to explain the denial of the claim. I'm happy to have the court given a limit instruction that it is not being offered for its truth. It is just being offered for the substance conduct of foresters, because offers after the claim is denied, Mr. Norman retains an attorney because of the denial.
But the only thing that is relevant is that they have found reasons to deny the claim.
We are not contesting denial, Judge. We agree it was denied.
Actually, you have proven inconsistencies. The issue is, again, you can't ask him about an answer that suggests that he is relying on hearsay from the St. Louis Police Department or a handwriting expert. That's the troublesome part. To the extent they did an investigation, you haven't presented the evidence. That's not before the jury. So the question is, he can say that, that the claim was denied, and that's really the relevant issue. The claim was denied, and he took certain actions after that. That explains the subsequent conduct. He doesn't have to say that he relied on the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. So,
for the record, I will stipulate that we agree. We will stipulate that it was denied. We will stipulate that we are not going to raise in closing arguments for reasons of denial.
You have actually shown inconsistencies in the policy. So I think we can testify about that. The issue about an insurable interest, I don't know where you want to go with that. There has been conflicting testimony about that. There has been some testimony. Again, I think this issue is whether or not Andre Montgomery participated, at least at this point. There is no direct evidence whether he did or he didn't. And to say that that's a question for the denial, I think it necessarily requires an inference of hearsay or action of hearsay. So I'm going to limit you to that.
Okay, thank you.
And then the proceedings resume in open court, which means they turn off the white noise and the attorneys resume to their corners. And we ring the bell. Ding, 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 the boxing ring.
Woo!
Counsel, you may proceed.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan, did forcers deny James Norman's claim on the forcer's life insurance policy?
Oh, I can speak now? Okay. Yes, we did.
At some point after denial, did Mr. Norman retain an attorney who also attempted to collect on his behalf on forcer's life insurance policy?
I believe it was before that denial that he retained an attorney.
At some point, did that attorney contact forcers on Mr. Norman's behalf trying to claim on the policy?
Yes.
Was the recording of that call made?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the recording?
Yes, I have.
Was there a transcript also prepared for that recording?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the transcript?
Yes, I have.
Does it accurately reflect the content of the recording?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, this is the government's Exhibit 17E.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, you will be guided by the instructions I gave you with regard to the transcript.
Your Honor, just for record purposes, we renew our motion in limine, except for the issue that's raised by this.
And the objection for the reasons previously stated in the written order. The objections will be overruled. You may proceed.
And then government's Exhibit 17E was played.
Mr. Sullivan, did Mr. Norman end up continuing to pursue the claim on Andre Montgomery's life insurance policy?
Yes, he did.
Did foresters ever pay that policy out?
No, we did not.
What does it mean to refund premiums of a policy?
That means we give the premiums back to the owner of the policy in the event we don't pay the claims it rescinded. So we put both parties back to the way they were before the contract was taken. Was taken out.
Was that the description in the call recordings? The check that had been sent to Mr. Norman was a refund of the premiums?
That was a refund of premiums, but in a sense, we didn't get all the information we were requesting at the time, so as to not necessarily make a decision to finalize the claim. We gave the refunded premium back and advised if he wanted to continue the claim, he could and reopen it. We would ask for the information at the time that he had provided. Oh, I got the hiccups.
Was that the discretion in the call recording, the check that had been sent to Mr. Norman was the refund of the premiums?
What?
Did you jump? I
Oh,
think you jumped.
sorry.
I was
Did
like,
I
wait a
miss a
minute.
question?
At some
Yeah.
point, did you receive the affidavit signed by Mr. Norman?
Oh,
Oh, yes,
sorry.
we did. Yes. Oh, yes, we did. And then you should be. Could we please pull up page 22 of 17B, Mr.
Page
Sullivan?
29, line 5. Or line 4, rather.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Could you please pull up page 2217B, Mr. Sullivan? Is that the affidavit sent by Mr. Norman to Foresters?
Yes, it is.
Looking at this paragraph here, beginning Andre Montgomery, could you please read that to the jury?
Andre Montgomery was 19 years old at the time of his death. He was a healthy individual.
Mr. Sullivan, based on your review of the application and the files in the matter, was Andre Montgomery 19 years old at the time of his death?
No, I don't believe so.
The paragraph beginning Mr. Montgomery did not have. Please read that in jury to the jury.
Mr. Montgomery did not have a primary care physician and consequently does not have a medical records from 2004 through 2014.
Could you please go to side by side with page 4? Mr. Sullivan, in the death claims submitted by Mr. Norman, what did he tell foresters about Andre Montgomery's medical treatment and records?
That he was a patient at some point at People's Health Clinic.
What did he say in affidavit he sent when he was still trying to collect in the policy?
That he does not have a primary care physician. It does not have medical records from the time period asked.
Mr. Sullivan, did Forrester ever determine that James Timothy Norman was a qualified beneficiary who is entitled to a life insurance payout on Andrew's life?
We determined he was not.
No further question.
Mr. Leonard, Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes, Judge. Okay, so breaking script. Precious, we're at that time you told me about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna call it a broadcast here. We will return. Let me fix this
On Wednesday, right?
Here we go. There we go. One of them will work out. But we will return on Wednesday, and we'll return with the rest of the transcript readings, and we will resume with Michael Leonard cross-examining Mr. Sullivan. And and then after this, we know, because we already heard, that Terica Ellis' testimony will be next. So that will be very interesting. So we will most likely probably get to that on Wednesday, I guess.
Okay.
But if not Wednesday, Friday next. So the plan is Wednesdays for sure and some Fridays. So that's where we're at with it. So thank you to our cast today, Margin and Robert and Precious. If you want to say anything before I drop you down, Margin.
Oh, sorry for the mishap at the end, and thank you for helping out for the word spellings, and thank you, Vel, for everything you do. You're so awesome.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate your help and your great work. Audience, put the clapping hands emojis in the chat for our brilliant cast. Thank you. And Precious, any parting words? And also, I guess you may not have seen my private chat message, and I just
I saw. I just saw it. I just answered it just now.
Oh, okay.
I was all in the script, you know me.
Okay.
It's always a good time to do this. I've just been having a crazy week. I lost my best friend this week, and my mom is sick, so I just really needed do this script tonight. You know, the shenanigans helped cheer me up. So just
Excellent.
pray for me, guys, because it's been a tough week for me. So just keep me in your prayers.
Definitely, our prayers and condolences to you. And just for that, as because I can't do much in making it too better. So my plan is to give you some shenanigans next week. I'm gonna come up with something
Yes.
good,
Yeah,
some real good.
shenanigans, guys, that keeps me going, the laughs, just, laughs, and just pray for me so I can get back to my usual, silly self. It's been rough this week. It's been a rough one.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep you in our thoughts and
Thanks.
prayers. Well, you try to let your hair down tonight and have a good time.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you later. And Robert, sir, your parting words for our audience.
Well, my parting words are I'm glad to be back in it, and that this is such a tragedy, and that we can learn from this. That there are lessons here that are coming out about people and relationships, and this has certainly been a terrible relationship that we can learn from, and pray that we get the most out of this as the days are coming forward. I'm happy to be a part of it.
And we're definitely happy to have you as a part of it and part of our VPO family. So I will see, well, we will see you on Wednesday. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Take care. All right. So with that, thank you all. Thank you to my moderator. Thank you to Alice, who's been holding down in the as a background moderator, and any of our moderators on the front end. We have some things going on with a new system I'm using, OBS, that I'm going to be bringing live to the YouTube side in a matter of time. So I've been testing it behind the scenes, but it's affected the chat. So I can't see things. It's affecting this chat for this broadcast. So it's a whole thing. But anyway, just know we're working out some stuff behind the scenes so that we can come out better and greater with our future content in 2024. 2024 is shaping up to be pretty epic. There's some things I have going on in the background in my world. Those who are part of the Patreon, our executive people, they are aware. I am taking them on the journey. So if you're interested, I didn't put none of this in the chat, but if you're interested in the description area below, the link to all of my social medias and my Patreon, I'll put the Patreon here. Let me just quit trying to rush out of here and put it here. There we go. You can join the Patreon. It's actually free as well. Like if you just want to kind of be in the loop and in the know, you can actually join the Patreon for free and you'll get some access. But then the tiers start at between $5 to $25. And then I also have a creator level creator suite where I do one-on-one consulting sessions and all of that good stuff. So if you want to be a part of any of that, join the Patreon. Also, if you want to be a little nosy and be like, Vell don't be around, where he be at? The executive people, they be knowing what's happening with me. I keep them posted. So with that, until next time, we will be live on the other channel. We'll be having some content. So just stay tuned to the notifications. And I'm going to play you out with a commercial. But until next time, make sure to take care and be blessed. Peace.